If you're over 60 and you've ever caught yourself grabbing a wall, a countertop, or a door frame just to steady yourself while walking, I want you to stay with me for the next few minutes, because what I'm about to share with you could genuinely change the way you move, and more importantly, how safe you feel when you move. Most people assume that balance problems come from getting older, that it's just something that happens, that your body starts to wobble and you simply learn to live with it. But here's what the research actually tells us, and this might surprise you. In a large percentage of adults over 60, balance issues and the increased risk of falling are not caused by age alone. They're caused by one specific area of the body becoming weak and stiff, and that area is almost never talked about. It's not your hips, it's not your core, it's your ankles. More precisely, the muscles that surround and control your ankle joint. The calves, the tibialis anterior along your shin, the small stabilizing muscles that run along the sides of your foot. When these muscles weaken, and they do weaken quietly and gradually, your body loses one of its most important tools for detecting where it is in space. That's called proprioception, your body's internal GPS. And when that signal gets weak, every step you take becomes slightly less certain than it should be. But here's the good news, and I really want you to hear this. These muscles respond to movement, even gentle, consistent, seated movement. You don't need to stand. You don't need any equipment. You don't need to go to a gym. What you need are 4 specific exercises that target exactly the right muscles. And we're going to go through all 4 of them together, right now, step by step. Before we begin, just a quick note, these exercises are informational and educational in nature. If you have any existing medical conditions, injuries, or concerns, please speak with your healthcare provider before starting any new movement routine. What we're sharing here is general wellness information, not medical advice. Now let's get into it. Find a sturdy chair, sit toward the front edge of the seat so that your feet are flat on the floor and your back isn't resting against the chair back. Your knees should be roughly over your ankles, not pushed too far forward, not pulled too far back. This starting position matters more than people realize, because if your hips are collapsed or your spine is rounded, the muscles we're trying to activate won't engage properly. So take a moment, sit tall. Imagine someone gently pulling the crown of your head toward the ceiling. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Place your hands lightly on your thighs and breathe. Good. Now let's talk about what we're actually doing here, and why this approach is different from what you might have tried before. Most ankle exercises you'll see in mainstream fitness content are standing exercises, calf raises at the edge of a step, balancing on one foot, walking on your heels. And while those can be effective for some people, they carry a real risk for anyone dealing with balance problems, dizziness, joint pain, or simply the fear of falling. What we've done here is take the most impactful ankle and calf strengthening movements and redesigned them so they can be done entirely from a seated position, without sacrificing effectiveness. Let's begin with the first exercise. Exercise 1 is called the seated heel raise. This movement targets the gastrocnemius and soleus, the 2 main muscles that make up your calf. These muscles are critically important, not just for walking and climbing stairs, but for pumping blood back up from your lower legs toward your heart. When calf muscles are weak, blood tends to pool in the lower extremities. That's one of the reasons many older adults experience swollen ankles, heaviness in the legs, or that uncomfortable feeling of restless legs in the evening. Strengthening the calves can support better circulation and reduce some of that discomfort over time. Here's how to do it. Sit tall in your chair with both feet flat on the floor. Keep your toes on the ground and slowly raise both heels as high as you comfortably can. You should feel your calf muscles contract, a firm tightening sensation along the back of your lower leg. Hold that raised position for 2 full seconds. Then lower your heels back down slowly and with control. Don't let them just drop. The lowering phase is just as important as the lifting phase, because that slow, controlled descent is where a significant portion of the muscle strengthening actually happens. Perform this movement 15 times, then rest for 30 seconds and repeat for a second set. As you do this, pay attention to whether both heels are rising equally or whether one side tends to lead. Asymmetry between the 2 sides can sometimes indicate that one calf is compensating for weakness on the other side. Don't force symmetry by gripping or straining. Just notice it. Over time, with consistent practice, most people find that the two sides begin to even out naturally. A few important things to keep in mind. Move at your own pace. If 15 repetitions feels like too much at first, start with 8 or 10. The goal is not to exhaust yourself. The goal is to create a gentle, consistent stimulus that tells your muscles, your body still needs you. Keep working. Now, exercise 2. This one is called the seated toe lift, and it works the muscle along your shin, known as the tibialis anterior. This muscle is one of the most underappreciated stabilizers in the entire lower body. Every time you take a step and your foot needs to clear the ground, that lifting of the toe during the swing phase of walking, the tibialis anterior is doing that work. When it weakens, the toe begins to drag slightly. That dragging is one of the most common causes of tripping and falling in adults over 60. It's so common it even has a name, foot drop, and in its mild early stages, it often goes completely unnoticed until a fall happens. Here's how to perform the seated toe lift. Stay in your chair, feet flat on the floor. This time, keep your heels firmly planted and lift only your toes and the front of your foot upward toward your shin. Hold at the top for 2 seconds, then lower slowly. You may feel a mild pulling or working sensation along the front of your lower leg. That's exactly what you want. That's the tibialis anterior engaging. Perform 15 repetitions, rest for 30 seconds, and do a second set. Some people find this movement a little unfamiliar at first because it's the opposite of what we usually think of as a calf exercise. Most of us have done some version of heel raises in our life. Far fewer people have ever intentionally strengthened the front of their shin. But from a fall prevention perspective, this may actually be the more important muscle of the two. So give it your full attention. Let's move on to exercise 3. Exercise 3 is called the ankle circle. And while it may sound simple, it is, but simple does not mean ineffective. Ankle circles work the small stabilizing muscles that surround the ankle joint on all sides. They improve what movement specialists call range of motion, which is how far your joint can comfortably move in each direction. They also stimulate the proprioceptive nerve endings inside the ankle joint itself, those tiny sensors that send signals to your brain about where your foot is and how it's positioned relative to the ground. Think of this exercise as calibrating your body's internal GPS. Here's how to do it. Lift one foot slightly off the floor, just an inch or two, enough so that your ankle is free to move. Begin drawing slow, smooth circles with your toes. Go clockwise for 10 rotations, then counterclockwise for 10 rotations. Keep the circles as large and as smooth as you can. Move slowly. This is not a speed exercise, it's a precision exercise. Then switch feet and repeat on the other side. As you do this, you may notice some stiffness, some clicking or popping sensations in the ankle joint. This is extremely common and in most cases is simply the result of joint fluid redistributing. As the joint moves through ranges it doesn't often explore. If you experience any sharp pain, stop and rest. Mild stiffness or the sound of the joint moving is generally nothing to be concerned about, but you know your body best. Listen to it. After you've completed both ankles, take a brief moment to notice how your feet feel against the floor. Many people report that after just one round of ankle circles, their feet feel more awake, more connected to the ground. That's not your imagination. That's your nervous system receiving better input from those activated proprioceptive sensors. Now let's do the fourth and final exercise. Exercise 4 is called the towel scrunch, and for this one, if you have a small towel or a thin cloth nearby, place it flat on the floor under your feet. If you don't have one, this exercise still works on a carpeted surface. Or you can simply simulate the motion without any prop at all. This exercise targets the intrinsic muscles of the foot, the small muscles that live inside the foot itself, between the bones, and along the arch. These muscles are essential for maintaining the arch of the foot, for shock absorption with every step, and for the fine motor control that allows your foot to grip and push off the ground properly when you walk. In older adults, these muscles often become weak and inactive, partly because modern footwear does so much of the work for them, and partly because we simply don't ask them to do anything challenging. Here's how to perform the towel scrunch. With the towel flat beneath your bare or socked feet, Use your toes to scrunch and grab the fabric, pulling it toward you. Hold the scrunch for 2 seconds, then release and let the towel flatten back out. Repeat this scrunching motion 15 times on each foot. If you're doing this without a towel, simply curl your toes downward as if you're trying to grip the floor. Hold for 2 seconds, then release and spread your toes as wide as you can before scrunching again. This might seem almost too easy or too small to matter, but I want to give you a different way to think about it. Your foot contains 26 bones, 33 joints, and over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments. It is one of the most mechanically complex structures in the human body, and in most adults over 60, it has been largely neglected for decades. A simple daily exercise like the towel scrunch sends a powerful message to those forgotten structures, a message that says, you are still needed, you still have a job to do, and your job is important. Over time, consistent activation of these intrinsic foot muscles can support better arch integrity, reduce the collapse that contributes to flat foot mechanics, and improve the quality and confidence of every single step you take. Now I want to take a moment to talk about how to put this all together, because doing these 4 exercises once is not where the benefit lives. The benefit lives in repetition, in consistency, in showing up for your body day after day, even on days when you don't feel like it. And because these exercises are all seated, the barrier to doing them is extremely low. You can do them in the morning before you get up from your bedroom chair. You can do them while watching television in the evening. You can do them at the kitchen table after breakfast. There is no special time, no special place, no special equipment required. A reasonable starting goal might be to do this routine 3 times per week. If that feels manageable after the first 2 weeks, increase to 4 or 5 times per week. Research in the field of senior fitness consistently suggests that frequency and consistency matter far more than intensity when it comes to maintaining and rebuilding functional strength in older adults. You don't need to work hard, you need to work regularly. Let's quickly recap the 4 exercises so you have a clear picture of the full routine. First, the seated heel raise, 2 sets of 15 repetitions, targets the calf muscles, supports circulation and push-off strength. Second, the seated toe lift, 2 sets of 15 repetitions, targets the tibialis anterior along your shin, critical for clearing your foot off the ground with each step. Third, the ankle circle, 10 rotations clockwise, 10 counterclockwise on each foot, targets the stabilizing muscles and joint mobility of the entire ankle complex, improves proprioception. Fourth, the towel scrunch, 15 repetitions on each foot, targets the intrinsic muscles of the foot, supports arch integrity and fine motor control during walking. The entire routine, done at a calm and comfortable pace, should take you between 10 and 15 minutes. That's it. 10 to 15 minutes, a few times a week, targeting the exact muscles that research suggests are most closely linked to balance and fall risk in adults over 60. I want to leave you with one final thought. Falling is not inevitable. Losing your confidence when you walk is not inevitable. Feeling unsteady on your feet is not a sentence you have to serve simply because you've reached a certain age. The muscles we talked about today are responsive. They are trainable. They are waiting for you to give them something to do. And sometimes, all it takes is 4 simple movements, a sturdy chair, and 10 minutes of your time. Start today. Your ankles and your future self will thank you.